Hey, what's up everybody? Welcome back to Unparalleled Universe for another action figure review, and today we're taking a look at the brand new Action Force Swarm Trooper and Action Force Swarm gear set from ValaVerse. And let's go ahead and jump right into this because I'm excited about this guy. He looks pretty awesome, and this gear set looks amazing too, so it's going to be dope to check all this stuff out. But let's go ahead and get into it, starting off with the packaging. You are able to see the Swarm Trooper through the plastic here, but there are a couple of layers of plastic in there, so there's quite a bit of a glare, but you can see the accessories that he comes with. Right here it does say Action Force, down here it says Swarm Trooper, right here it says ValaVerse, on the side of the box it says Action Force. On this side of the box we get some really dope looking artwork of the Swarm Trooper, and then on the back we get a very cool biography about the Swarm Troopers. It kind of talks about how they're all connected through like a hive mind kind of thing, and that is super dope. It makes me want to get a couple more of these guys. And then over here it shows the other figures in the wave. I've already reviewed the Steel Brigade figure and Condor, so be sure to check that out. I'll leave a link to that in the description below. But enough about the packaging. Let's go ahead and open these guys up and take a look. So here we have the Swarm Trooper right out of the box, and this is just the figure himself. He doesn't have any of that additional gear on. We'll look at that a little bit later. I just wanted to give you a good look of what the figure came with just by itself. But here he is, and man, this is a super dope figure. He's just as impressive as Condor and the Steel Brigade figure. I might like him a little bit more because you could actually keep his vest on and still get the full range of motion from the articulation. So that is awesome, and I really like the whole bee concept. There's a lot of cool design things going on. They kind of integrated the whole idea of bees into the suit and the concept and the idea and the add-ons, you know, so it's very cool. And I think this guy just came out really awesome. I like the color scheme too, with the dark silver that we see, or like the dark metallic pieces, the black and the yellow. It just all comes together very well, and I think this is a great looking figure. The only problem I do have with him is, just like the other figures, his vest is removable, but when you try to take it off, it's very hard to peg the straps back into the holes. And even if you just leave them on, I mean, even if you just leave the vest on and you're messing around with the figure, like, these things are, you know, like prone to popping out just from messing with the figure without trying to take the vest off. So that's one thing that is a little bit frustrating. But aside from that, this is a super dope figure. I really like the way this guy came out. But let's go ahead and get in close and take a look at all the awesome sculpting work that they did on this guy. Starting off with the head, I really like the design of this helmet. I like how we have different metal colors in there. There's some light silver and then some dark silver, or like some dark gunmetal type of color, but I think it looks really cool. I love the way the eyes look too. I like how they have that insect-like texture. I'm not even sure exactly what to call it, but it looks like a bee's eyes, so that's very cool. But yeah, I like all the different details that we see on here. And then something I just noticed when I was looking at it is on the back of the head, there's actually like a little ventilation type of thing, like an air vent, the assistant says. But yeah, that's cool. That's a little detail that like I just noticed right now. But yeah, I really like the way this head sculpt looks. It's very cool. And then moving down into the rest of the body, he's got his armor right here, which looks nice. And we have like the honeycomb type of thing here in the middle of the chest, which I think looks good. All the painted details on here look nice. Then right here we have a couple of magazines in the holsters there, or I think that's what they are. It looks like it, but they're not removable, so that's kind of sucks. But still, I think they look really cool. And we have some armor on the arms here that look really good. Check out the detail on the back. Really good stuff. And then the body is the same as the other two figures, the Condor and Steel Brigade figure. But, you know, adding all these other pieces really makes it feel different, so that's cool. And then he does have a belt that's kind of a loose floating piece, so you could kind of move it around if you want, and it just kind of sits on top of the belt that's underneath there. And then we have these straps that are also a loose piece. Then he has his gun holster, and this houses the gun very nicely. You don't really have to worry about it falling out or anything like that, so that's cool. And this is not a separate piece. The gun holster is stuck to the upper thigh here, but it's all good. Then we have some armor right there, some more straps. The lower legs look really cool too. Check out all the detail here. Lots of good sculpting work going on this guy. Then on the back we have his sheath for his knife, and that's attached to the floating belt. But yeah, some really good detail on this guy. I like the armor pieces. I like the whole bee aesthetic. I love the helmet. The head sculpt is probably my favorite thing about this figure. I think it just looks really, really cool. So they did a great job with all the sculpting work and the paint detail on him. And then for accessories, the Swarm Trooper himself does come with a lot of cool stuff, including multiple sets of hands. So first off, we have a pair of fists. We have a set of gripping hands. We have a set of trigger finger hands that could be used to hold on to the guns that he comes with. And then last but not least, he does come with a set of these cuffed cradling hands. I don't know exactly what word you want to use to describe these things, but they're awesome. They're very helpful in getting the figures into realistic gun holding poses. So I like these things a lot, and it's nice to see that all the Action Force figures so far have these. I think it's very dope, and hopefully they continue to include them going forward. And then getting in close to take a look at the weapon, starting off with the handgun. I think this one is very cool. As you could see, he has no problem holding it. There's really not a whole lot to it, but it does the job, so I like it. And it does have the hole in the barrel for the muzzle flare effect that you could get with the weapons packs. So this is awesome. I like it. And then on the opposite side here, he has a bigger rifle type gun. And I'm not really sure if this is based on an actual gun. Given their commitment to realism in regards to their weapons, I'm sure this is based on a real gun. But to me, it just kind of comes off as a little bit more science fiction inspired or something. But, you know, I'm sure it's actually based on a gun that I just don't know about. But let me know in the comments. In any case, I think it does look very cool, and he has no problem holding it. So yeah, this is awesome. And then for the final accessory, it does come with one of these Action Force stands, and I think these are dope. I like how it says Action Force right here, and then there are 4 different pegs so that you have some options as to how you want to display your figure on the base. But I think this looks good. And as cool as this figure is on its own, you could make it even cooler with this Swarm gear set. As you can see, this comes with a couple of extra guns. It has this really nice looking shield, and it also has this awesome looking stand that matches the shield. But the coolest thing in this set is by far these bee wings. Man, look at this. This is so freaking cool. Makes the figure was already awesome. I already really liked it, but once I put this backpack on here with the wings and everything, I just thought this was perfect. It completes the whole like bee theme, and and it's super dope. I love the way the wings look. I like how they match the shield, and they are articulated so you can move them up and down, and they're also very sturdy. You don't have to worry about them flopping around or anything like that. So the wings feel good when you move them, and I think this just looks awesome. I like how it looks like a bee. You got the black and the yellow there, the blue at the bottom. You got like the stingers down here, it looks like. And yeah, this is just super, super dope. And he also comes with a couple of extra guns, and I like these guns better than the ones that he came with, so I like that they threw them in here. Again, I'm not a gun expert, so I can't really tell you exactly what these guns are, but on this side, I mean, in my ignorance, I just want to call it a machine gun, but I know that's not what it is, so feel free to let me know what it is in the comments. But it does look good. It has the peg hole for the muzzle flare, and I think it's very well sculpted, so they did good with that one. And then on the opposite side, we have like this grenade launcher kind of thing, so he could definitely wreak some havoc coming through like an aerial attack, just launching grenades or rockets or whatever this thing shoots. Yeah, he's gonna cause some trouble. But imagine how cool it would be to have like 3 or 4 of these like fighting other figures, but like with the wings and everything. It would just look so cool. So if I get some more of these Swarm Troopers, I'm definitely going to have to get some more of these gear sets, because I think the wings really complete the look, and it just takes an already awesome figure to another level. So I think this is super dope. Alright, so now for some size comparisons. Here we have the Swarm Trooper alongside the Action Force Steel Brigade figure and the Action Force Condor, and I do think that he looks really good next to them. It's going to be fun having all these guys fight each other. And then here we have them alongside some other army builders. On the left, we have the G.I. Joe Classified Red Ninja, and on the right, we have the G.I. Joe Classified Cobra Trooper. And then for some Marvel army builders, here we have them alongside the Marvel Legends Hand Ninja and the Marvel Legends Aim Scientist. And it might be cool to mix up these Swarm Troopers alongside the Aim stuff because of the yellows, even though they don't really match, but, you know, the whole bee theme is there. The beekeeper, the bee. So that could be fun. Next up, we have them alongside some Star Wars army builders. On the left, we have the Star Wars Black Series Hoth Trooper. And then on the right, we have the Star Wars Black Series Imperial Stormtrooper. Next up, we have them alongside the G.I. Joe Classified Roadblock and the G.I. Joe Classified Snake Eyes. And I think that he looks pretty good next to them. You could definitely have some G.I. Joe versus Swarm Troopers action. And then to get him in here with some random 6-inch figures, here we have him alongside the Hasbro Fortnite Chaos Agent and the Jazzwares Fortnite Dark Voyager, I think that guy's called. But I kind of like the way these two look together. It might be fun to set something up with them two. And then last but not least, we have him alongside the Marvel Legends Bucky, Cap, and Marvel Legends Pizza Spider-Man. So far, it looks like all the Action Force figures have the exact same articulation setup. So this guy does have the same articulation as Condor and the Steel Brigade figure. But I'm perfectly fine with that because I love the articulation setup on these guys. They're very fun to handle, a lot of fun to pose around and play with. So I think it's perfectly fine that they all have the same articulation, especially when it's this good. But let's go ahead and take a look at it, starting off with the head. His head is on a ball hinge joint, so that means his head can move side to side. And the design of the head does not hinder its movement whatsoever. He's able to look up to about right there, which is really nice for flight poses. And then he could look down to about right there, which is pretty decent. And then he does have my favorite torso setup, which is a diaphragm cut with the ball joint and then a ball joint at the waist. Using both of those, he can crunch forward to right there, which is pretty nice. You could bring it back to right there. And then we do get some side-to-side movement. And he is able to twist on those joints as well, but just like with the other figures, it is a little tight, so you might want to apply some type of oil or something, but you know, it may not be necessary. He's getting enough movement as it is, so pretty good stuff there. And then at the arms, he does have awesome butterfly joints. He's got ball joints at the shoulders that do go all the way around, and then they're able to come up to about right there, but it's a little tight. You kind of have to tuck the shoulder armor under the shoulder piece in there. I mean the butterfly joint itself, but once you do that, you can get his arms up pretty high, and it doesn't look like it damages the paint or anything like that. So there you go, good stuff. I really do like these butterfly joints because punching poses, hell yeah. So good stuff at the shoulders here. Then you could bring them forward a really good amount for boxing poses. Oh, and then this came undone. That's one thing that's very frustrating when you're messing with this figure. These things kind of pop out very easily, but we're not going to worry about that right now. Moving on. So he does have upper bicep swivel. He has double jointed elbows, which get a pretty good bend. Bam, there we go. Awesome stuff there. He has a swivel at the wrist and then a hinge. And then his trigger finger hands do have the vertical hinge. So that's nice. And that's it for the arms. Moving on to the legs. He does have that drop down hip feature. And check this out. So you could drop down the hip quite a bit, and when you drop it down, look how far up his leg could how far up you could bring his leg. Like, that's pretty crazy right there. Damn. And these straps do kind of get in the way when you're moving the legs around, but you just gotta shift them around however is necessary, you know. They're not a big deal or anything. But yeah, I was really surprised by how far forward his legs go. Damn. Awesome stuff there. And then you could bring his legs out to the side to about right there. Gets a little tricky here with the straps, and see that's kind of getting caught in the joint there. There we go. So you got the straps and the hip armor, so it's a little restricted compared to the other two figures, but you could still get some good stuff going. Check that out. You could get him to kick pretty high. And then he does have upper thigh swivel. He's got double jointed knees, bam, which get a really good bend. And then at the foot, we do have a swivel at the ankle. And then he does have rocking feet, but it's pretty tight, but you could still get them to rock a pretty good amount. And then you could bring his foot forward to right there, bring it up to right there, and that's about it for the articulation. Just like the previous two figures, this guy is a joy to mess around with. The articulation is just so awesome. Like I said, the torso is one of my favorite torso setups, and then he has the butterfly joints on the shoulders, double jointed knees and elbows. Pretty much everything that you'd want out of an articulated 6-inch figure, these guys have. So I think they did a good job with it. And his armor pieces don't really hinder the articulation all that much, but there are some exceptions like in the hip area. But aside from that, everything moves very well. So I think they did a good job with it. And yeah, this guy's a whole bunch of fun to play with. Alrighty, so overall, at the end of the day, when the smoke clears, the dust settles, and it's all said and done, I think this is a badass figure. I really like the character design. I'm really digging that whole bee theme that we have going on. I like the colors, the yellow, the black, and then the metallic armor pieces all look really awesome to me. The figure itself is very well sculpted. It's got some really great details, some really clean paint work. The articulation is awesome on this guy, just like the previous two Action Force figures. This guy is just so much fun to pose around and play with. Yes, he does require a little bit of heat to get going, but that's not a big issue. You just put him in water for a few minutes and then you're good to go. And once you do that, the articulation is super enjoyable and he's just a whole lot of fun. The accessories that he comes with are pretty cool. I like that he has multiple hands and a couple of different guns, but if you want to get crazy with the accessories, you really need to get this gear set, because getting this kind of takes this figure up to another level, especially with the wings. These wings are so freaking cool. I just fell in love with these things right away, and I think they make the figure just look so much more badass than he already looked. I already thought the figure was cool, but when I put the wings on, I was just like, damn, I really love this thing. So I think they did a great job with it, and they do have a really interesting character design and a pretty cool like concept. I love the idea of a army builder, or like a, you know, like a goon army that has like a hive mind, you know. I think that'll work really good for different types of heroes. You could have him fight your Marvel Legends, and it would be really cool to have like 2 or 3 of these to fight your heroes. I think that would be a lot of fun. He would be a cool goon for somebody like Yellow Jacket or someone like that, right? But yeah, this is a really cool figure, and I'm really digging this design and the whole idea. But man, I am really enjoying this guy. I think that ValaVerse did a great job on him. As far as the flaws go, I think the only thing I dislike about him is the fact that his vest kind of comes unlatched when you're messing with the figure, and then it's hard to put back on. So that's something that I think that they should try to work on going forward. But aside from that small little problem, I think this guy is awesome, and I'm just really enjoying it. And with that, I think that's it. Thank you so much for watching. Please be sure to like, comment, subscribe, and all that good stuff. Also, be sure to hit the bell notification so you know every time that I go live. If you're not aware, I do go live every Tuesday at 7 p.m. and every Friday at 7 p.m. So come through, let's hang out, talk about toys, and get weird. Thank you very much. Peace.